Good morning. I'm still tired today. Uh, been doing too many things. And I had a full book yesterday and got one today. But I did put out my calendar yesterday, which I be telling, I mean, not calendar, application for relationships. I be telling my clients instead of just the first person who say they want to go with you, instead of just dating that first person, you need to actually give them an application and see if they meet the standards that you're looking for. In order to do that, you got to actually know what you're looking for. So that's the first part of that is know what you're looking for. Uh, the second thing I think I had put out a discovery phase a while back, and in that discovery phase, I was like, that's the time you spend time with yourself, understanding who you are, what you like to do. Uh, just getting a good understanding of who you are, and then when you get with somebody, you keep who you are. You can make some small adjustments, but you don't let them change who you are and turn you into who they want you to be. Because later on, you will feel like you lost yourself. Anyway, let's check this application out I put out yesterday. Oh yeah, I put a question out too about see how what people believe with that. So with that. I put a question out. What are some rules in Chicago style stepping? And I put one of them is if the lead get out the lane, the follower is supposed to utilize that lane. And because I wouldn't know why the lady was arguing, but one lady was arguing with me that wasn't true. Anyway, that's what Victor say on his artistic motions. It's not true. I believe it is true because I've heard leads tell me that is that whenever the lead get out the lane, the follower is supposed to get in it. Let's see what else people had to say up there about that. Somebody said learning what the beat of the music is, learning lane control. So that is how the lead learning it too. Learning when the follower is supposed to be in the lane and when the follower is not. I put dancing too big or too wide. That's annoying. Having too many feet. The lane is a certain length. The lane is not um, like as long as you want it. The lane ends at a certain place, and it's not far. It's like I think um, I think Victor said it was 3 feet. I mean 3 feet that way. So I don't know how many feet that way, but it's not that far. It's not bigger than like say longer than like a person. So it's not however long you want to make it. That's why a lot of people have trouble with their timing is because they're making the lane too long. So Kim K said, I was told if he gets out the lane, it is a signal to move across the lane. Right. Christopher McKellen, this is how I was taught. Do all your steps, get out of the way. Above everything, take care of your partner. Yes. And JoJo Hutchinson said, I was taught if the guy opens the lane, the lady should enter it. Right. So that was the one rule. I was hoping people would put some more rules of Chicago style stepping because there are rules. I mean, you can do stuff anyway, but you're breaking the rule. But then some people don't know the rules. So I wish I could find a list of them to there go H2O.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Hey, this is H2O. And the things about rules are made to be broken. I mean, rules are get broken all the time. So, like, which about what is a rule to this dance? What's a rule to this dance? It's going to get broken.
To a certain point.
The rule will.
It will be, but to a certain point, you don't even look like you're doing that dance no more.
Well, I disagree with that a lot because
especially you be breaking certain rules that should not be broken, like your arm being way out there, you shifting your weight off the weight and stuff like that. Because you think like in your mind, which is the same thing I used to say when I wasn't really understanding. I would say, you know, they just don't know how to do it. Yeah, people know how to do that. They don't do that because you're not supposed to do it.
Yeah, but like rules, like some people, you go to one set of instructors, they'll say this is the rule for this. You go to another set of instructors, this is the rule for this, and then after a while, well, whose rule is correct?
I think most instructors tell you though, if you get out the lane, if the lead is out the lane, that
Well, we're
one-
not talking about any particular rule.
right, but that
I'm just talking about entire.
well, you're not talking
collective.
about it. I was talking about a particular set of rules.
Okay, go ahead.
Right. The other one was that well, I heard Tori say that, the girl Tori, is that the turns start on one. Begin the initiate on one. Not that you can't do 1 on 4, but they initiate on one. A lot of these rules are important because, like, for the one with the lady get in the lane, it helps the lady really be able to dance. It gives the lady a lot of versatility. It helps the lady to be able to, if the lead is not having her hand, when the ladies keep complaining that the lead hold their hand during the whole dance, it helps her to, when he's out the lane, if he doesn't have her hand, to utilize that space to be able to dance without somebody holding her hand. So it is very helpful. So they're there for a reason. They're not there. These rules in the dance are not there just to be a rule. They're there for a specific reason. Like the choreo, like the turn starting on one, initiating on one. They're there because you need to complete every choreo. You don't just start a choreo and then don't complete it. If you started on 4, it's kind of like you're probably doing half of a choreo. You're probably not doing the whole thing. You're probably doing like just 4, 5, 6 choreo, and then it ends. Doesn't probably feel complete because women can tell when that stuff is not complete. This feels kind of weird too. So there'll be reasons for it. There'll be reasons for the hand not being out here because of weight shift. There'll be reasons for stuff. There'll be reasons for, like, if you're going to keep it like the woman, like they'll teach it a certain way. Like that thing that I showed you that time with salsa where they said yes and no. Yes, do this. No, don't do this. You know, it doesn't look good a lot of times. Like the having your head down. Yeah, you just need to keep good posture because it looks good. And then they had that salsa thing where they had X. The chick was hunched over like this. You know, and it just, you want to keep your frame and stuff like that. And it keeps you in line. If your frame is tilted, it feels like y'all timing.
But we're talking about rules.
Well, that is a rule. That is still a rule. Keeping your body up.
Right. Well,
keeping your posture. That's a
rule.
We're talking
rules in the all general because some people go to a stepping class or a salsa class or a swing out class for years and years.
They teach you that for sure. You just don't listen.
No, some classes don't.
Like Ron just said the other day in the class about your posture. Some people just don't listen. They're not going to force you to do it.
Not on all rules. Some people may go in the class, get to see a bit of a rule. They're not keeping the truth because they have other things in their life that's going on in their life.
We're talking about rules. We ain't talking about people not following rues because they got other stuff going on.
But sometimes they don't even know about the rules because they weren't even there when they're doing the rules. Now, if you're pointing out some particular that I'm doing, then that's something different. But I'm talking about rules as the overall general.
Right, but what I'm saying is they're not listening.
Like,
they be telling them.
And that's okay.
They're not listening. Sometimes they might not understand it when they say it. Sometimes it takes you a while to understand something.
Right, correct.
Somebody tells you something and you don't understand it right then. Sometimes you just don't follow rules because you just feel like you shouldn't follow rules. Rules are meant to be broken, like you were saying. But sometimes the rules are there for a reason. Some stuff is there for a reason. Like the posture is there.
But who is the rule police? Though?
Like nobody.
There is no rule police.
Nobody. But like the posture when you're in the front of yourself like this, this follower can feel the weight. Okay. It feel heavy. No, I'm saying there be reasons that there's stuff that's made for dance.
But there's no rule police though. That's what I'm saying.
There's no rule police, but it makes for unpleasant dance.
It's up for the experience of the person.
It just kind of creates problem in the dance though. And there's I'm just talking about rules. I ain't saying that you're so defensive. I ain't talking about
defensive. I'm just talking about rules in general.
Yeah, there's no police, but I'm just saying there's a reason for it. That ain't my point in saying is there a police. My point is that there are rules in the dance. I don't know if people know that there are particular rules in each dance. Most of them go over every dance though. Like even though people Like, well, you can't. Okay, you can't do that in stepping. A lot of times, that same thing you can't do in swing. You know what I'm saying? It's just it's really universal. Like even for salsa, the lane is open, you in it. Even in swing, your posture is important. It's not a rule, but it's important. All the dances, some of that stuff is universal. So anyway, so let me see the application now. We went to the Black and Bling this weekend. Last weekend it was really nice. Uh, had a good time. A lot of dances. Seen a lot of people I hadn't seen in a while. This Wednesday we will have Houston Two Step, and we always have the partition for stepping. So we have stepping now every week. Uh, I always end up getting to teach some leads, so that's why I'm trying to really get my lead part down packed. I just teach the very beginner, just the up and back basic, cross basic, and the which I feel like that's what people really need to know. Timing, try to help them with their timing. Like I said, the up and back, the cross basic, uh, the left foot lead, the right foot lead, uh, in place, the right at 8, which I practiced the right at 8 a lot yesterday. The right at 8. Uh, so that's mostly just that, a left turn and a right turn. I feel like if you know those, if you get those really good and on timing, you can build your dance from there. The issue is people don't know that. So if you can get good timing on the left or right, up and back basic, and a cross basic, you can build your dance. So, that's all I teach. And then I can send them everywhere else. And they can, by then they know people and they can go all around. And just so they can go and say she didn't teach you that right or whatever they want to say. But I make sure I teach that right. So oh yeah, the application. I'm supposed to be going through the application. Here go the application. Let's see. Let's get to it. And why did I build this application? So I just feel like for instance, when I got single, my therapist was like, don't get in another relationship. He didn't even want me to date. And I didn't understand why he was saying that. And so for that reason, I had developed the discovery phase. And discovery phase is just about discovering you. It just tells you what you should be doing when you're single. Why does people tell you not to date? I feel like if people are going to tell you not to date, they should tell you what to do during that dating period. And so that's why I had a discovery plan. Okay, but in that discovery, I don't say don't date, period. I just say don't get in no full relationship. I think you should be going out to date because you should be understanding how to date and you should understand how to, not just take the first person who said they want you, but have people put application in. And so I put this application in on Facebook. It's on my page. And what I tell my clients first is first you take the application. And not because you can just check each one they're true, but these are things that you work on. So here goes some things that you work on. I just said I created a healthy relationship dating application, not for fun, but for growth. Before you choose someone, do you know yourself? That's the first thing. This is what you do in the discovery period. Do you know yourself? What do you know about you? Like, do you know what you like to do? Have you got all your singleness out? Because you might be feeling like you haven't had a chance to do you. Be by yourself. You might actually like being by yourself. That's what a lot of ladies have chosen. Once you get a chance to be by yourself, you might enjoy it. But either way, if you get some foundation on your own, it's easier to get with a person if you liking yourself, liking your life. If you looking for people, if you out there looking for someone to rescue you, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to rescue you. They're just going to make your life really dramatic. So that's not reality. People rescuing you, that ain't gonna happen. They're going to make your life more chaotic. You need to rescue yourself. So here we go. And that don't mean just totally. That's in between. You rescue yourself, and when you get somebody, yes, they can fill up some spaces, but they can't be your total rescue. And so here we go. Do you know yourself? That's number one. Can you handle conflict? I mean, are you defensive? How do you handle things you don't like? Can you listen to a discussion that you don't like? You know, can someone bring to you something that needs to be talked about that you don't like? So how do you handle conflict? How do you handle triggers? When you get triggered, what do you do about it? I've been teaching how to react positively to triggers. Triggers don't have to be a negative thing. When you get triggered by something like somebody who has been with people who's cheated on them many times. So now, like if the person was gone and they would, before they came home, they would go cheat. They would go out to cheat first before they got home each day, or most days, whatever. Some days. So when they get with the next person, when the person is missing for a couple of hours and they don't know where they are, they flip out. They start to spaz out. But I tell them that you can't control the feeling coming up on you, but you can control your behavior. But so what should you do? You need to learn how to regulate. And you need to learn what regulation worked for you. What calms your spirit? What calms your soul? For some people, it can be Bible verses, breath work. It could be exercise, going to the gym. It could be walking your dog, playing with your dog, playing with your cat. If you got a cat, whatever it is. But you need to find a way to regulate yourself and to calm down before you speak, period, before you come to your partner. So you need to try to learn how to put space between feeling and speaking. Put space between feeling and speaking. Better write that down. There should be some space there. Space between. I'm going to type it in. When you feel something and speaking about it. Okay. Because feeling things are normal. And just because you feel something doesn't mean that there's something that you need to react to. We feel all kind of feelings, and we're supposed to. That's a lot of people's big thing, is they want to run away from feeling. But the thing is, having feelings is just really reminding you that you're alive. And you're supposed to have a number of different feelings. You're supposed to be feeling happy, feeling good, all that. Sometimes you feel sad, sometimes you feel irritated, annoyed, all kind of feelings. Empty, full, uh, angry, joyful, all kind of feelings. And you're supposed to. And for some reason, it seems like we only want to feel happy. But that's not reality. They had another whole movie about that. I think it was in Frozen, whatever, where the person try to stay happy all the time. That's not normal either. But there should be some space between feeling and speaking. And then it shouldn't be always that somebody else needs to rescue you from a feeling. Like a lot of people, what they do with a feeling is they eat, smoke, drink. They try everything they can to avoid having feelings. But feelings can be a conversation. So what if you got curious? One of my clients got a special pen, and he gets curious about feelings instead of him get curious about a feeling instead of running from it. And so he would use a special pen, and whenever he would have a feeling, he would write. He had all kind of different special pens. He would use a different pen, whichever one he felt in that moment, to write about the feeling. And so he might say, well, this pen is for when I'm sad. That gives him a little space to regulate. That's his regulation tool. When he's trying to figure out which pen do I want to use today. Okay. Just getting that pen gives him a minute to regulate. It gives him space between feeling and speaking. Okay. And then he tries to figure out, okay, what am I curious about? how's this feeling? Let me think. Let me have curiosity about this feeling. Or he just be curious about anything that he wants to be curious about, anything that may have went through his head that day to be curious about. So then he writes that down. What am I curious about today? He writes that down and he tries to come up with a few answers about that. So in that space, he's regulating himself during that time. He's regulating his emotions.
Mhm.
And so that's just learning how to take space between feeling and speaking. You can feel something, that don't mean you need to hurry up and address it. Like yesterday, for example, this Herman, and he said, I was telling, he was saying he was gonna go in the other room and watch TV, and I said, I'll ask watch TV or whatever, and I was like, there's a TV in the living room, and he came back and said, why did I say that? See, that's in those times you have space between feeling and speaking, because I guess he felt like I'm trying to. I don't know what he felt like. What did you feel like when I told you could watch TV in there?
No, I didn't. I didn't understand. I was like, why would you tell me to go over there when?
Right, but you had to have a reason to ask the question.
I just wanted to know why you.
Other than you being very defensive, but what was the reason?
I wasn't defensive. I was asking, why would you want me to go over there? Was there something going on here?
But what reason would you ask me?
I was thinking there was something going on in this room here.
You knew what nothing going on. You seen the room.
Right.
But
you could have had some kind of paper on the somebody put on a paper and you didn't want me to move or anything. That's what I was asking. Is there something going on in there?
Okay.
Right. I didn't want to come in here to disturb something you had going on.
Okay. Well, you would have seen the paper. You still didn't have to move a paper. But anyway, sometimes take space between you feeling something, especially if it's negative, and especially if you have a partner. Take space between, trying to address it and regulate yourself.
But that wasn't negative thing. It was just making sure, hey, she got something going on in here.
You know what happened going on.
Right. Well, you said go into the other room and watch the game. Like,
I was just saying that there's more than one TV here.
Okay.
There's a TV in all these rooms.
Right. I was like, is there something?
And you said, why should I have to go in there and watch TV? Because that's a smaller TV.
There's something going on. I said, why do you want me to go in there and watch TV? What's going on?
Well, I'm so used to him being defensive that,
And that's brain reading. And what you talk about, people don't mind.
Mind reading. That's right, mind reading. Well, you did say something to me. I didn't totally mind read it. But all I'm saying is learn how to regulate before you go. I didn't try to mind read it. I just know that you came to me saying something. And I just know you defensive.
Right. So you're mind reading. Right. So
I knew it was some reason that you came. You still ain't that you thought a paper was in here, this whole room.
No. I didn't know if something was going on. Did you spray some bug spray? Because they did have some gnats in here. The gnats are gone now. Did you do something for me not to come in this room?
Oh, okay. And then I didn't say don't go in there. I just said there's no TV in there.
Right. That's what I was asking.
But anyway, get curious about feeling. Like I said, that particular client, this is why it's good to talk to people, even young people, is because they do have good ideas instead of just thinking you know everything. Even as a therapist,
they do.
You don't know everything. There's still a lot for you to learn. You just real quick. This is Dr. Jackson. Okay, thank you. Hey, can you tell Devin to get the dogs?
Okay.
That's the pool man. But so anyway, that's one. That's something I'll be working on. So I'm working on this week is learning how to asking people, learning how to react more positive to triggers. And so that's one thing. When you feel triggered, take some space between going to somebody else about it. Regulate yourself. Some ways you need to learn how to take care of yourself. And so that's one. Can you handle conflict? Are you emotionally available? There are a lot of people say, especially women, they'll say men are not emotionally available. And so, I think that women got to know that men are not going to be emotional people. They're not going to sit there and listen to a story and say, well, I'm sorry you feel like that. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. But a lot of times they're not. They're just not that person. That stuff is for your girlfriends or your cousin or whoever. Because a lot of women do get upset at guys because they feel like they don't have emotional responses that they think they should have. And that's just not really normal. You can't turn a man into a woman. And a lot of women do want to turn a man into a woman. I see that every day where they're trying to make a man have an emotional response like a woman. And that's just not reality. Men may want women. This is a really common thing. Men want women to be men too. So that kind of goes both ways. Where women want men to have emotional responses. And y'all need to hurry up because the pool man will leave. And let him know you open it, Devin. I'm still trying to get back to read some of the applications. So let me just read some of it. Okay. Here goes some of the questions. Let me just read some stuff in there. And so the last one is, are you healed enough to not bleed on someone else? So are you healed enough? If you still ask saying, don't do this because I get triggered, you're not healed enough. You don't know what to do when you get triggered. You need to know what to do when you get triggered. You need to know how to have a conversation that you don't want to have. You need to learn how to listen to take a break when you're having a conversation that gets you triggered. Don't tell the person don't do this or don't say this because you get triggered. You need to learn how to regulate yourself and say, hey, I need a break. I need 15 minutes. And don't mean that you can stonewall and never had a conversation. Hey, I need 15 to 20 minutes, 15 to 20-minute break. So here we go. Too many people are dating from loneliness just because you're lonely. Just because a lot of people are dating just because they've just got out of a traumatic relationship. They're not even finished with that relationship. And they go straight into dating someone else. And of course, that person seems perfect because they're in the honeymoon phase. Everybody seems perfect. They're not even screening the person. They're just like, well, this person is patient. They listen to me. Yeah, everybody listens in the beginning. Until 3 months later, you can't even see the person. Confusion or the need to be chosen. A lot of people dating for those reasons, not because they want a partnership, not because they can handle conflict well with that person, not because the person makes them feel safe. None of those things. They just dating because you know these other reasons. They lonely. Uh, they just broke up with somebody. They trying to fill that space. They trying to make somebody jealous. Even a lot of things. Uh, so people date from those reasons and then wonder why relationships don't work. A healthy relationship doesn't start with, do you like me? It starts with, am I ready to love someone the right way? If you had to fill out an application before dating, would you pass? Would you pass the application process? And that's what you need to make people start doing. Pass the application process. Just because they sign their name on the application don't mean that they get chosen. A lot of people, all they need is someone to say that they'll put the application in. They don't even make them put it. They sign their name and they say, okay, I like you. You taken. Not screening people enough. You're not screening the situation. Everybody's not for everybody. If you with somebody and you got to push and pull the relationship, push and pull the relationship, that's probably not the right person for you. So here we go with the first question. What are you currently looking for? First of all, make sure that match. A lot of times that don't even match with people. They telling you they want to be friends. I just want to be friends. Okay. If you know you're looking for a relationship and somebody tell you that they just want to be friends, then you already finna get yourself in a situation 9 times out of 10, thinking that you can change their mind. Somebody say casual dating, you got checks on their long-term relationship, marriage, or unsure. Okay. The next one is, why do you want to be in a relationship right now? Is you want to be in a relationship right now because you just broke up with your baby mama after 10 years and y'all break up all the time and you start dating people just so you can get back with them? Like, why do you want to be in a relationship? At least a good percentage of relationships are starting like that 3 days after somebody broke up with their ex.
Yeah, the time prospect is a definite.
Yeah. Uh, So yeah, that's the first question. Why do you want to be in a relationship? Okay, even if they just want a friendship or whatever that have to do with intimate partner, why do you want to do that? Okay, and then you need to check the time and check and don't just listen to them. Pay attention because a lot of people, what they say with their mouth is not the truth. But if you pay some attention, you can tell the rest. You can tell the readiness. So look for readiness and don't just ask about readiness. Look for it. Are they really ready? Are they available? Is when you see them, you spend time with them, or they sitting over there texting all the time because they probably texting their ex if they are. I'm just saying because they in and out of relationships because a lot of people doing that. A great percentage of people doing that. Like that old lady said, close one door before you open another one. They haven't closed the first door and they open another door just to get you caught up in a bunch of drama and trauma. So here we go. The second one. What does a healthy relationship look like to you? What does a healthy relationship look like? What about you? How you answer that? What does a healthy relationship look like?
What does a healthy relationship look like? Communication. It's a healthy relationship.
What kind of communication? Because communication is everything. Communication is body language. Communication is
this one.
Yeah, communication can mean anything. So you can't just tell a person communication because communication can be negative. Communication is everything. Somebody told me yesterday, they said they got ghosted and they just wish the person would tell them. And I'm like, the person are telling you. Like ghosting is a big conversation. That's a huge conversation. Uh there's no closure. There can still be closure in ghosting because you know what it is. I mean, the person ain't dead and you know they're not dead. So they told you they don't want to be with you. That's just it. It is what it is. They did have a conversation with you. They just had the conversation with their actions and not their mouth. And it's better to listen to the conversation. The action conversation is bigger than the mouth conversation. So it's better. That's better anyway. So here we are. Self awareness. That's section 2. Self awareness and growth. What have you learned about your past relationships? What have you learned about your past relationships? What things irritated you? What things were good? What things do you want to bring to this relationship? What things do you want to leave behind? And I even say with people's parents, because people keep talking about their parents. And I'll be like, why don't you create your own slate of what you want your marriage or relationship to be like and not, trying to bring everything that you've seen from your parents, especially when a lot of the stuff wasn't healthy. And so, what'd you learn from your, parents' relationship that you want to keep? What things do you not want to bring into this one? That's a conversation to have. Uh, the other one, what are your emotional triggers? That's a big one. What are your emotional triggers? What triggers you? So a lot of people are triggered by things that, and some of these are from other. They're not necessarily from their partner, current partner. They're from other things, but they never think they're a priority. Uh, they can be triggered because they suffer with anxiety and depression. When they can't control things, a lot of people are triggered with that. When they can't control things, when things don't go the way they want to, they get triggered. They feel like it should always go this way. And things can only be done this way. And so when they get done another way, they get really triggered. I'm gonna put some common triggers out there. Um, you didn't tell me where you was going. You left without letting me know you was going. You told me you was going one place, but you actually went another place. These things can be real innocent, but a lot of people who've been cheated on, they get triggered by that. Sometimes people get triggered by the way somebody looks at somebody. So different things can trigger people. But do this person know their triggers so that they don't take them out on you? Because if they don't know their triggers, when they feel it, they're going to think you did it. You did this to me. You made me feel this way. When really, they've been feeling that way for most of their life. So you need to know what those are. And that don't mean that you need to know so that you don't do it. or so that you don't cause them. It's just that the person really needs to know what are what their triggers are, so that they don't blame them on you. That's her reason for knowing that, not because you can avoid triggering people, because you cannot avoid triggering people. You're going. I'll be telling people too, like, because I hear one thing that people say a lot. They say, "Well, this reminded me of my ex," and pretty much they want the person to change their behavior so that they're not reminded of their ex. If you get with if you get with any human, first of all, they're gonna remind you of another human. Some things they do gonna remind you of another human. But if you get with another man, they're gonna remind you of things that another man you was with did. If you get with a black man, they have similar traits. So males have similar traits, black men have similar traits, humans have similar traits. So if you get in with people, sometimes you are going to be some things are going to remind you of someone else you were with. So how do you typically handle conflict? Do you avoid it? Hey Herman, can you give me a little more space? Because I can. It's hard for me to do this and hear you talking. Okay. How do you typically handle conflict? Do you avoid having any kind of conflict? This is a great question for women to ask men, because a lot of men are very avoidant. Uh, and so you want to know what level of avoidant, and then talk about that. Talk about other ways y'all can deal with avoidance. That does definitely creates a problem. It feels like what we call stonewall. Do you get defensive? Do you stay calm and communicate? And then y'all can learn how to like practice. Okay, we have a conversation. How do we have a conversation that's, we go into it to say, tell me something that has bothered you about our friendship if you're just friends with a person. And you need to be able to hear that and say, let's practice talking about it without running away, without getting defensive. And let's practice staying calm and communicating. Okay. What are you currently working on within yourself? Okay. That's a question to ask someone. Whether they're emotionally ready. Are you emotionally available? Why or why not? Person, that can tell you a lot. Can you identify and express your feelings clearly? Yes. To check the box of yes, sometimes, and no. How do you respond when you feel hurt or triggered? Some people might fight. You need to know that. What are your non-negotiables in a relationship? What behaviors will you not tolerate? What values are most important to you? Honesty, loyalty, respect, communication, faith, family, and other. And you might find a lot about that when you had a conversation with someone. How do you show love and affection? Uh, lifestyle and compatibility. To me, this is one of the biggest ones. Do you use substances, alcohol, marijuana? You know, you need to know that in advance. I know some people who were functioning alcoholics when their partner met them, and then they later found out, once they were really intertwined in a relationship, that they were full-fledged alcoholics. So that's something to, pay attention to. Uh, how do you manage stress? What does your daily life currently look like? What's a picture of your day? Uh, what makes you a healthy partner? What areas do you still need to grow in before entering into a relationship? So anyway, if you want to find a healthy partner, you might need to take some steps to go through it. The whole point is that don't just let somebody just enter your life without screening them. No job lets you do that. Every job makes you put an application in. First of all, you want to know that they even want the position, because maybe they just, you and them are not wanting the same thing. You're not on the same page with that. That right there, that's about at least a good third of the relationships start like that. The person, you're not even in agreement of what you're looking for. My nice son over here bringing me some water. Thank you, homie. So anyway, that's my thing for today, and that's what I've been working on this week. So let's see what some people said. Okay, so Sahara Alexander, she said this is useful. The and if you think it's useful, I would like you to share it. Danielle Frazier said this is good. Alexis Green said this is good. She's sharing. And Grace McKenzie said, "You're so right. You have to know if you're ready. I tell men all the time that even though I am single, I'm not available. I also tell them marriage isn't on the table for me. Anyway, I love this questionnaire. Very useful. And so, you should be able to say that and stand on it. If that's what you're feeling like. I mean, you could change your mind later if you want to, but if that's what you're feeling like, you should let that be known. And if you know for a fact that you don't want to marry, a lot of people do know that. They don't want to marry. They don't want to put their assets on the line. All that. They know that when you marry, you literally can lose in marriage. Marriage is also a financial contract. It's not just a love contract. It's also a financial contract. And a lot of people have decided not to put that on in jeopardy. A lot of people want to leave everything to their kids, whatever the case. And so they don't want to get married. And so if somebody tell you that, believe them. Don't be up there think you can change their mind. You know for a fact you want to be married and they don't, and you think you can change their mind on it. Don't do that. Okay, well, I'll see y'all later. Have a good morning. I'm about to get up and get started with these. We're about to get started with these, I think 8 or 9 appointments I had today. Later, y'all.